Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11. Sri Shuka said, What time the trees had fallen to the ground, Nanda and all the cowherds heard the sound, as if of thunder, and were terrified, and to that place in consternation hied. They saw the Arjun trees strewn on the ground, but no apparent cause was to be found. Although the signs were visibly perceived, the actual reason could not be conceived. They saw the child bound by the belly there, and dragging the heavy grinding mortar. But who and how and why it had occurred, they could not understand, and were disturbed. The children said, When he the mortar struck against the trees, it was obliquely stuck. Then two beings from out the trees did rise. Indeed, this we have seen with our own eyes. When the cowherds did this report receive, they could not such a miracle believe. That the trees could have been felled by the child, they could not comprehend, and were beguiled. Yet some began some doubt to entertain, but could not the phenomena explain. When Nanda saw his son with belly bound, dragging the grinding mortar o'er the ground, with smiling face, affectionate and pleased, approached the child, and from his bonds released. The cowherd dames would coax him to essay to sing and dance for them in childish play. Although supreme, not subject to control, he danced like a puppet or a wooden doll. When ordered a seat or a jug to bring, when quite unable up his arms would fling, as if to show that he had strength enough, at which his relatives would smile and laugh. By such deeds the Almighty has made known, and subservience to his servants shown, and granted herein to the wise insight of his acts in Braja of vast delight. A fruit vendor one day to Braja hied, buy fruit, come, buy my fruit, she cried. Which hearing, Achyuta came with some rice, to make exchange of equivalent price, and thus he approached at the vendor's call, although he grants the fruits of deeds to all. But, or he comes to where the vendor stands, most of the rice had fallen from his hands. She gave him fruit, although the rice was spilled, and lo, her basket was with rare gems filled. Some time after the felling of the trees, who were transformed into pure devotees, Rama and Krishna had been gone all day, down by the river's bank, absorbed in play. Divine Rohini to call them was sent, and to where the children were playing went. And though Rohini tried to bring them home, they were immersed in play and would not come. So Yashoda, with fond affection blessed, to fetch her dear children her way addressed. Her breast oozed milk that made her garment wet, and when she saw how it was getting late, she called to Krishna with his elder there, with all the other boys, and did declare, and as she hastes along, she loudly cries, O Krishna, Krishna of the lotus eyes! Oh, my dear, enough of play, I protest. Come now and take nourishment from my breast. Oh, Rama, dear, joy of our dynasty, come in your younger brother's company, for you have been at play since breakfast time. Now you must be hungry, so come and dine. For ye, Nanda, the Braja's chief, doth wait to take his meal. See now it's getting late, so come forthwith, give pleasure to each friend. Ye other boys must also homeward wend. Your limbs are dirty and with dust defiled. Come now, be washed and bathed, my darling child. Today your birthday is, so come and dine, donate to Vipras gifts of milking kine. Lo and behold, your friends are clean and bright, with fair ornaments by their mothers dight. So come along, bathe and eat, I implore, and well adorned, play with your friends once more. Yashoda thus urged him to wash and clean, although he is immaculate, supreme. Bound by affection for the mighty one, she looked on him, O king, as her own son. Achyuta and Rama away she led, and took them by the hand, and homeward sped, and washed them clean, and with fair dainties fed. Now Nanda in the council chamber sate, and called the peers and elders for debate, what measures gainst calamities to take, for all the cows and cowherd people's sake. Both old in deliberation and years, wise Upananda rose amid the peers, one who knew well time, place, and personage, regarded for his wisdom as a sage. Considering Rama and Krishna's care, he spoke to all the cowherds gathered there. Ye fellow cowherds, hear what I propose, since all the signs portend ominous woes, which threaten danger to the children here. Hence from Gokula we should move elsewhere. 'Twas only by the grace of God this boy was saved and did the wicked witch destroy. It is a wonder how he was unhurt nor crushed by the big overturning cart. How was it, if not by almighty care? When Trinavarta flew up in the air, was tumbled down, the cause of great alarm, yet the dear child was free from scathe or harm. That neither he nor any other child the fallen Arjun trees had crushed or killed is the sure and undeniable sign of Achyuta's protective care divine. Before that ominous calamity occurs, we should in all propriety, with all the cattle and each family, migrate with all the cowherd colony. There is a forest, Brindavana height, with fresh groves and pastures, for the delight of all the cowherds and the grazing kine, abundant verdure, and mountains divine. Therefore we should depart even today, and our effects on carriages convey. If this seem worthy, and we are agreed, then let the cattle wealth ahead proceed. Hearing this speech in unanimity, with bravo, bravo, the cowherds agree. Then their wains with all their possessions load, and foregather, ready to take the road. They mounted on the carts, the young and old, rejoicing while the wagons onward rolled. And as the caravan did forward wend, the cowherds wield bows and darts to defend. The rolling wains echo the trumpet's blare, the bugle horns resounding fills the air, and thus they proceed along with their store, with herds of cattle moving on before. The cowherd dames in fresh garments were dressed, the vermilion glows upon their breast. Their necks were graced with nishkas, and with joy they sing of Krishna's deeds, the wondrous boy. And Yashoda, with Rohini beside, seated upon a single wagon ride, with beautiful Rama and Krishna there, who were delighted their praises to hear. When they had ventured in Vrindavan's bound, they set a camp of wagons half-moon round, temporary accommodation rear, where it is pleasant all throughout the year. When Rama and Madhava had surveyed, O King, Vrindavan's beauty thus displayed, Mount Govardhan, Yamuna's bank they viewed, and were thrilled with love's high beatitude. The brothers twain thus in their tender age in diverse games and sports of boys engage, delighting the cowherds. Then came the time they be employed in tending the small kine. At no great distance from the settlement the brothers with the cowherd children went, and while they the small calves to pasture drive, diverse and varied childhood sports contrive. Sometimes they play upon their flutes, and now stones and pebbles in their catapults throw, and knock down fruits that drop upon the ground. Sometimes is heard of their footbells the sound. Sometimes disguised as bulls they take delight, and roar like bulls, and now play a mock fight. They mimic cries of beasts, and taste such joys as if they were but ordinary boys. And so, while Rama and Krishna one day upon Jamuna's banks with their friends stray, herding the calves, a wily demon came, with foul intent to kill the brothers twain. When Hari saw the demon in calf's form enter the herd, Baladev did inform, little by little, as if he knew not where the demon was, he approached the spot. Thereon Krishna the demon did assail, seizing both of his hind legs and his tail, and spun him dead and threw him to the top of a kapita tree, whence he did drop. Forsaking the form which he had assumed, and his mighty colossal form resumed. His friends, seeing how the fight had won, cried victory and bravo and well done. And the gods wondered at their marvellous powers, and threw from heaven celestial flowers. Now the protectors of the world divine became the keepers of the grazing kine, and having in the morning breakfasted, they roam the pastures and the cattle led. One day the boys their respective herds guide, to let them drink down by the water's side, and while their thirst the cattle eager slake, the boys also of the water partake. Now they beheld a terrifying sight, a being of such stature and such height as by the Levin's bolt let there to fall the riven summit of a mountain tall. He was no other than Baka by name, assuming the form of a giant crane, and straight with his sharp beak did Krishna seize, and gulped him down, and swallowed him with ease. When Rama and the other boys behold how Krishna by the crane had been swallowed, they were astonished, and by woe assailed. The vital forces of their senses failed. The son of the cowherd now in his turn the root of the demon's palate did burn, and thus effected his release, and came out of the demon's mouth, which did inflame his wrath, and with his gaping beak enlarged again with rage at the world teacher charged. Thus he, the master of the devotees, of heaven the inhabitants to please, with the firm grip of his mighty arm takes the friend of Kamsa by the beak, and breaks. As a basket weaver divides a reed, he thus performed with ease a marvellous deed. The dwellers of heaven congratulate the foe of Baka, and precipitate Mallika blooms grown in the Nandan grove, in the fair regions of the blessed above. And as the flowers fall upon the ground, the drums and conches of the gods resound. Then with hymns his high dignity was praised, and the sons of the cowherds were amazed. Thus, from the mouth of Baka, having gained their lord Rama, and all the boys regained their composure now that he had survived, and their faculties of their senses revived. Now freed from all danger, they held him tight, and embraced him with eager, fond delight. Thereon, gathering the herds, they proceed to Braja, loudly proclaiming his deed. The cowherds and their women, when they heard, by wonder and admiration were stirred, as those who from the home of death return, to gaze upon the boys they eager yearn. Ah me, how many times has death contrived to kill this boy, who has by grace survived, that all of these causes of fear not one has effected death, but to death been done. Although fearful of aspect and most skilled, they were by their own evil intent killed. What though they with designs wicked conspire, they are consumed as moths rush into fire. And oh, it is no less a wonder too, that wise men's speech should never prove untrue, for all that illustrious Garga said has come to pass, e'en as he predicted. Thus Nanda and the other cowherd men repeated with delight o'er and again discussions on Rama and Krishna's deeds, which makes them to forget their worldly needs. The two boys thus with other children played, as through the tracts of Brindavan they strayed. They played at hide and seek, and like monkeys they leapt and clomb the branches of the trees, and such games as worthy to children seem, constructing bunds and leaping o'er the stream. Thus ends Chapter 11 in Book 10 of the great and glorious Bhagavata Purana, the text beloved of swan-like saints, sung by the son of Vyasa.